Before we get started, does anyone want to get out?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Rewatch. I am Nick. Joining me is Katang Enjoyer Jared.
Greetings, my fellow Hotman.
All right. So we are watching the second episode of book 3, coincidentally titled it's called The Headband. So Jared, what were your initial thoughts on this episode?
Well, this basically reminded me of like a lot of those like school dramas that you'd see on like Nickelodeon, because that's pretty much what it is.
Hey Jared.
Victorious Aang.
Jared, my ankle, it's hurting. It feels like my foot is loose.
Oh god.
That's what I should open that with, but no. So this episode does pull on a lot of things, like you get a lot of the John Hughes high school drama, but it also pulls a lot on the Footloose angle of which we will get to that, you know.
Yeah, and again, I thought it was pretty cool because you see Aang, he's like, I'm happy, I'm living a normal day.
Yeah, and for someone like Aang, that is rare. So like they steal some clothes, which I don't know about you, Jared. When I saw that, I was getting some Man of Steel vibes from that.
Yeah. Except I love where like Sokka's going through each thing. He's like, nope, yes.
But yeah, great. And so they get like kind of their suit up, and like they're really starting to push the Aang Katara romance here. Don't you want some Katang? I'm sorry. All right, we're not high, guys. We swear. We're stone sober here. But like, but yeah. So like they're going through the school, and because Aang like, oh, I'm gonna grab the suit. It actually is a school uniform that he steals, and they think he's skipping.
Which I love that. Again, this reminds me a lot of those high school dramas that no doubt we watched at one point when we had our Nickelodeon phase.
Or some people had their Disney phase where they prefer the musical variety of high school dramas.
Oh yeah, 100%. They were really victorious in that.
That was a Nickelodeon show.
No, but I want to bring in as many victorious puns into this show right now, because this episode was very much full of them.
Whatever.
I also love how like Aang goes, here's my piece of art. Here's a picture of the Fire Lord. Here's a picture I made out of noodles.
So one thing that I did want to touch upon is, and Jared, I don't have picked up on this, is the historical revisionism. That like this episode very subtly touches upon like the propaganda they teach in schools. Like, oh, we were friends with the Native Americans. We arrived here. They greeted us with open arms. When in reality, you know, X, Y, and Z. You know, like what did you think about that? Did you pick up on it?
Yeah, it's really interesting because because during school we're taught a certain, depending on where you go, you're taught even a certain version of the events of World War II, because it's like if you go to Germany and take one of those tours, they'll teach you a different version of history than you would if you were from the US.
Yeah. It's and if you go to Japan, you know, like it's kind of one of those things where like you watch a video where it's like, how is XYZ taught in, you know, like how is the Hiroshima bombing taught in Japanese schools? You know, like how are they taught it? You know, or or like how is the Germany of the 1940s taught the Germany of today. I'm avoiding certain terms for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. It's a very kind of interesting topic, and once again, because like I know you really liked how Avatar tackles these very heavy topics in a very even-handed manner. I think would be fair.
Mm-hmm. I did, yeah, 100%.
And yeah, this is definitely one of those times, and I kind of wanted to bring it up. But like, what did you think about like the parent-teacher meeting?
Mr. and Mrs. Fire. Oh God, I was like, oh no. When he said I have to be my parents, I was like, oh wait. And then I'm like, and someone fell for this.
No, and my
I also
favorite.
love. Wait, no. I just love this entire episode. Aang's like trying to blend in with the Fire Nation when he goes, "Greetings, my fellow hotmen."
That has how you doing, fellow kids energy.
That was just so good. I was like, okay, I see what they're going with here.
Oh, yeah.
By the way, so you made a Footloose pun? According to trivia, this the dance party scene and the basic plot of this episode, a free-spirited young man teaching self-expression to the youths of an oppressive town, is loosely based on the 1984 film Footloose.
I'm going to give credit for that revelation once again to overanalyzing Avatar. So like I swear like I have to give credit where it's due because I don't want to be like I'm ripping off a lot of his thoughts. I'm at least giving him credit for them.
Mm-hmm. There you go.
What other trivia you got there for us, sir?
Katara and Aang incorporate bending moves into their dance. I love how Katara is very jealous when Aang is dancing with another girl. I'm like, Katang! You just got Katanged!
Oh dear God, never do
The
that
history
again.
teacher refers to the Air Nomads as the Air Nation and mentions their army, revealing more of Fire Nation's extensive propaganda campaign.
Yeah.
And yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one of my favorite parts of this episode is the parent-teacher conference when he's like, "I'm Wang Fire, and this is my wife Sapphire," and then Katara, without just missing a goddamn beat, she's like, "Hi, I'm Sapphire. Sapphire Fire." And it's almost like she said it, and then in her head she realized, "Oh crap, I should probably add fire to that."
Mm-hmm.
Like you can just see her, like you can just like she does it so smooth, but you can just kind of see the thought process in her head. I love it.
I also love again when they're talking about like Toph, she's like, I gotta wear shoes, but I can't see, and she like pushes through the shoes.
She was like, "Your souls are mine."
Nice, I love that.
Yeah, you see what I did there?
When Aang leaves the group, they go into a store selling meat. One woman is seen wearing some of Toph's disguise clothes, so it's that's an interesting little thing there. I love how we didn't even talk about in the past like couple episodes Zuko and Mai's little relationship that came out of nowhere.
See, I watched the whole thing, so it's like I'm used to it. But like I'm trying to think like
Yeah, I'm trying to think when did they set this up? It does kind of show up out of nowhere. In episode 1, they're together. I'm like, where the hell when did they ever interact?
See, it's really hard for me because like I've watched the entire series, so like them being together is no big deal for me. But like now I'm actually thinking like, did they actually set this up?
No, they didn't. They just show up, and I'm like, did I skip an episode by accident? And I'm like,
no. I mean, Mei and Zuko are a key relationship in this show.
Yeah, but I gotta say, Nick, this is so far my one ding on the entire season because they didn't do anything to set this up. And here's the thing: it would be one thing if they set up in the previous seasons, but they barely, if ever, interacted.
They do have flashbacks later on in the season, which show like, yeah, it's been going on for a while, you know, kind of thing.
But that's like the most, oh crap, we didn't set this out. Quick, retcon machine.
I mean, fair. But I will say, as things go on, you just kind of go with it. And it's like, and it's, you know, it's like,
this is going to take off some points there. Because I'm like, you have to set it because everything else in the series so far has been set up properly. It's just when this one thing happens, I'm like, I am confused.
To be fair, they have been separated. I mean, granted, they could have had like one line here or there, but like they were all off busy kind of doing other things. So it's like in the context of the show, it does make sense why they've never mentioned it. But I do agree it does come out of nowhere.
But you gotta have it'd be one thing again if they had previous episodes of them even talking or interacting of the stuff we saw. Flashbacks do not count because that is the creatives going, oh no, we never showed them even interacting. How would they be able to like be in a relationship?
I want to say there's been like a few occasions where Zuko and Ozai's angels kind of like were in the same scene, but I can't think of anything.
Yeah, that happens, but Zuko and May, no. It's not like John and Shiera where they were like practically always bickering like a married couple.
Yeah, they built that up really well.
They built that
John
up
Shiera.
from episode 1 practically.
Also, in regards to Aang and Katara, they were building that up since
that
episode
was
1.
Set up from episode freaking 1.
Like there were times when they kind of dropped it for a little while and then they brought it back up. But it from episode 1, it was there, like like the Jet episode that really reared it, and like
yeah,
tried to kiss her, and
yeah. At least so far, that's my one ding on this season, and because I was wondering, like I wanted to ask you about this. Finally, I remembered to ask you about this. Did they ever do anything to like indicate, oh, they're together? Besides, like all of a sudden he shows up, oh, they're together now. What?
Even Sokka and Suki have had more setup.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take off points for that. But beyond that, it's a pretty good episode. I really enjoyed this episode for that reason. Plus, I also like Aang, like in band class, and they're like, "What are you doing with your feet?"
Yeah. Though my favorite part is when he's like, oh, check out these moves. He literally Naruto runs.
Yes.
So I guess you could say Aang is ready to break into Area 51.
Oh God. Okay, I'm gonna bring up this funny fact. So I'm a DC fan. You all know this. So there was this funny scene where it's in one of the Lego movies they made. It's like Lego Batman, like well, anyway, the Legion of Doom is assembling, so they're assembling at Area 52. So Lex Luthor goes, "Oh yeah, it's a new Area 52. You could say it's a new 52." And in that episode, that's where they get the new 52 costumes. Nick is finding a clip right now, but that's what was really.
Fuck off, God.
And by the way, and immediately when I watched that, I was like, that's a Nick pun if ever I saw one. Yeah, but anyway, so beyond that, but so I like that. I like that. So going on to the dance party, or as I like to call it, Footloose. It was. I liked how
everybody Footloose.
Yeah, and then I love how like when Aang and Katara dance, everyone's like, oh, because they're doing their bending moves without bending, essentially. So I was like, oh, okay.
I mean, if you think about it, like there's really not much of a difference between fighting and dancing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like they're more fighters than dancers. So the moves they would know would be fighting moves. So it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah, it does, 100%. But anyway, I dug it, and again, it was kind of funny. A lot of martial arts have been attributed to dancing, and they kind of
capoeira itself was a martial art that was formed to mimic dancing because it was I think South American slaves. When they wanted to practice it, they wanted to look like they were dancing.
Plus, also, there's this great scene in Knights of the Old Republic 2. This is when you could have the handmaiden dance in the Princess Leia slave outfit for Jabba. I'm calling him Jabba to get his attention. So she's like, we don't even know any of the dances. And then she goes, oh yeah, a lot of Achani fighting techniques can be taken as dancing.
Who did you get to dance for Jabba?
Handmaiden.
I got you can get Kiera to do it, right?
Yeah, I know, but I wanted to do. I did it as the handmaid. It was like one of my first quests. By the way, you should have seen my head explode when I learned that Mandalore is Candrius Ordo from 1.
I mean, as soon as you hear his voice, it's painfully
It
obvious.
didn't connect with me until I got the encyclopedia for Star Wars, the good era of Star Wars before.
By the way,
got thrown out.
Speaking of hearing their voice and knowing who they are, there's going to be someone in Justice League that I'm going to point out.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Yes,
Let's just really give you a booster of enthusiasm.
I was just going to say, when you see it, your brain will be fried.
Mm-hmm.
But
so in other words, I'd say I rate this episode solid 9.5 out of 10. It was enjoyable. It had the comedy. It touched on those heavy topics because, again, this is a war story. And what this is dealing with, what I like about this, what I like about this season so far is that you're seeing it from the Fire Nation's perspective, because for so long, for 2 seasons, you've seen the Fire Nation is basically the Empire from Star Wars. And now you're seeing it's not that, like, different. That's why I like seeing, like, a lot of the Fire Nation kids and very, like, sympathetic characters, because you see them only as stormtroopers, essentially.
Yeah. You know, they're people, really, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And I would rate it a 9.5 as well. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to top it off here.
Real quick, I just want to mention one more thing. First off, like, comment, subscribe, and let us know your favorite parts of this episode, what you think of the themes. I just want to say that this episode, it's very interesting that this was the episode we talked about, the whole theme of the season, because I recently saw that movie, The Creator, and the thesis of that movie is dehumanizing your enemy. So this season 3 is like the counter to that, starting to humanize the Fire Nation. So I found that very interesting.
Agreed. So next up, we have the Painted Lady, which I'm just going to warn you, Jared, I'm going to be making a lot of Captain Planet jokes next week.
Okay, and you're going to be painting?
Ladies. I'm going to be painting ladies.
There you go.
I mean, hey, we can broadcast this on Twitch and get $1 million. So anyway, I am Nick from the Phoenix Press. And remember, I can only show you the door. You're the one to walk.